No teleprompter, no nothing like that. I'm just continuing it on from the video before. First off, define the relationship with the client. I mean, if you're going to have fun with it and know that you're just going to have, onesie, twosies, they're going to be with you one time here, one time there, and you think that's going to develop a business, not going to happen. You need to sit down and spend a little time with them and develop what you're going to have for a long-term relationship. What I mean by long-term relationship is not a one-year deal. A one-year deal is a short-term relationship. We just did a program with a nationwide speaker company. That company there, when I sat down with them and we were talking about what we're going to do for BIPOC business and give them exposure in BIPOC environments, including organizations like UNICEF, Urban League, and a few other ones, told them I'm not here to do a one-year program with you or a 6-month program. If that's the case, I don't want to sit down with you anymore. It's just not the way it is. I'm looking for 3 to 5 year relationships so we can work together and develop long-term plans and actually, develop strategies together. It may be hard for you to do that right now because it's new for you in business, and I understand that. Or it could just be intimidating. If you've never been in sales or anything like that, the idea of having a sales cycle that's 3 and 5 and 7 years long, I mean, that's got to be something new to you, especially going into the video industry, because you would think that's just 1, 2, 3. But that's not really how you develop a long-term business plan. You really do need to have relationships that are 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year relationships where you have actual contracts that say, I will be doing business with you with this, with these many things developed in the retainer, this much going on forward. This is how we're going to do if inflation happens and products start to cost more, or we have this already built into your scheduling. Things like that. You really do need to have those set up. And sometimes those clients are your saviors, because you may have 6 or 7 clients in your bucket that have been with you or signed a 3-year or 5-year contract. Let's just say they're 5,000 retainer a month for one, 3,000 retainer for another. It all pots together $20,000. So that's your retainer. And say, for instance, you got staffing costs that cost you, I don't know, $35,000 for the month. Well, you now have 20,000 of it out the way. And when I say staffing costs, I'm including you, and then there's taxes and everything else with that. So, or let's just say you have a $20,000 expense and you now have that all covered. That means everything you get beyond that is gravy, and that's just adding on or ability to expand and develop your business more. So you really should be working on changing your clients from a 1, 2, 3, 4 programs a year, and then when they're coming to you type thing, to, hey, what can we do in the structure that's 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year? Let me define those structures for you too, because this is important for anyone who's going into any form of business, period. Anything under a year is short term. Anything from a year to 3 years is midterm. Anything from 3 years to 10 years is long term. Now, I did say 3 years, so there's a real weird gap. Like if you're 3 years in one day, you really are jumping into their long-term budget. If you are just at 3 years, yeah, you're in that area there. So, hey, little one. All right. My kitty cat's right over here. Oh, hush. All right, so the other thing that's going on here is, baby, stop. We're not playing that right now. The other thing that's going on right now is you look at legacy clients versus new clients. If you have a legacy client, and one of the complaints I saw in the video was that their pricing, they can't afford anything, or they can't go up, so they're going down in price. They never went down in price. You priced them at $200, $300 or free, and you never showed them an invoice that was above that. So to them, that's what they're going to be able to get. Hey, you got a new camera, so what? I still need the same thing you did last time. That's not a bad thing to have them. For example, if you have any assistance people that work with you and stuff like that, it's amazing to get an assistant reps doing videos and doing some editing and give them a couple $100. Say you charge the gentleman $400 and you say, I'm going to have someone out there for an hour to take video, and then they're going to edit a video for you. Well, hell, pay that person $250. Keep $150 for yourself. And that gives them, $100 for being out there to shoot. And it gives them $150 for editing, or however you want to do that mix, but they're just editing something real quick. You still get to keep a little bit of money. That person gets a job and gets some reps in, so that you have an opportunity to have someone to work with you and build that up. And you also build a team up around you, and they may have clients that they know who are looking for a bigger and better production. They can't provide it, but you can, and they get a job out of it, and you get a job out of it. So that's the importance of the legacy clients. The other piece of the legacy clients is, say for instance, one of those people's been with you for 2 years or 3 years, so you know they want to stay with you. And it's not just because of price. They like the quality. There's a bunch of people at your price level that it's gonna happen. So what you do in that case there is you sign them up for a 1 year or 2 year contract and say, okay, fine. If you can only do 4 a year, fine. But each one of those is $500, and we're gonna send somebody out for 3 hours to do video and then turn it into a 1 or 2 minute video. And we're gonna do that for you 4 times a year, 6 times a year, whatever it is, times about whatever dollar amount you want it to be. That's your rep for the other person, or that's one of those weeks when you're like, you know, it would be kind of nice if I threw a little extra in my pocket, and I'm just gonna go out and do this. And you sign them up for a certain dollar amount a month to make that possible. So say, for example, you're doing 4 of those a year, you want those to turn into a decent amount, so you make them a $300 a month thing, so it's like $800 a day, or whatever it is. But they're gonna get that $300 every single month. They're just gonna write you a check, or they're gonna do a Visa debit, or whatever it is. That's consistent income all the time, and it's just a retainer, and you promise you're gonna do 4 videos, you're gonna have people out there for a period of time. It's always nice to have those. So if you have 10 of those coming in a month, and you know you're only gonna be doing, you know, every 3 months a video for them, you're gonna have some staggers, and you're gonna have some days in there where you can put reps in for people, or put some reps in for yourself with your new equipment, and not have to have the stress of, you know, it's a $10,000 job, so I gotta make this look good, or it's a $2,000 day, I gotta make this look good. And don't tell me a $2,000 day isn't a stress day, because it fucking is. Because you're coming out there to do a good job that day. And they are paying you between, you know, $100 to $200 an hour to stand out there with your equipment. That makes a difference. So when you're looking at it like that, and you have those long-term legacy clients, you can do that. On top of that, with your legacy clients, one of the things you need to do is when you transfer them over to a new bill with you, you have to start invoicing. And this is key. So I'm transferring this over to new pricing. You have to start invoicing your previous clients who are still getting these legacy pricing with your brand new pricing. And some of my clients have had damn near heart attacks, because I remember when I was doing $300-$400 days, it was like, here's a $300 day, $400 day, and I'm gonna do this, I'll be out there. And they're like, oh my God, this just came out so great, and I love it. And that's how we are, and you were there, and you feel like you lost it because they don't have those anymore, or you have to say no to them. I don't always say no to them. I say, I got another tech out there that can help, and I take a little bit at the top and then make sure the tech gets paid good. I now invoice them with the new day amount, and that new day amount is significantly higher than that $500 I used to do. So when you do that, you discount it down to whatever you're used to doing with them, and you put on their legacy client as long as it stays with services. And then what that means is it lets them know that they still want this deal, they have to continue with you. And they have to renew their contract every year to keep that deal. If they don't renew it, they don't get that pricing. But don't just automatically say no. Put them onto a contract that they get to renew every year. You can bump the contract a little bit. So let's say, for instance, you were at a $500 day with them before. And this is going a little bit longer, but this is really good if you want to move your pricing up. So say, for example, you were at $500 a day with them before, and now you want to move them to $700, which isn't a big bump, but let's just say you bumped them to $700. That includes whatever video you were doing at $500. Great. So now you can pay somebody $400. You keep $300. Pay some taxes. Write off the cost of that person going in, and you're golden. Okay, you're doing good. Okay, that's a plus. But it's also a plus for the client because they still get the same level of service because you're teaching that person to do that and you're building up a team around you. The other thing about that is every year when you renew the contract, you may change the price by $50. But if they're with you or 10% or $100, but if they jump with you, that's great. Now, if they bug back and say, I can't ever do that, which they won't do it, trust me. If they want to stay with you, they'll bump $200. It's not a big deal to have them bump that much each one of the shoots, and say they're doing 5 shoots at $1,000 a year. That's not going to kill them. They will stick with you. Now, if you bump them from your new rate, so say, for example, your rate back then was $500 and it included a 1-minute recap video and then like 3 hours of being there, And now your new one is $2,300 for that same type of thing for one day to be there 3 to 4 or 5 hours with all this equipment, and then having an assistant there, and then you're gonna drop a recap video that's gonna be 1 minute, 2 minute recap video. Yeah, that's gonna scare the shit out of them. But don't scare them to death. Say, hey, look, I'm gonna come out, or a tech's gonna come out. Now, if we're doing a full day, when I have both me and a tech out there, and they're not expecting that because it's not what you had before. They may have upgraded equipment, but they're not expecting the other part. Or the cinematic, trust me, the cinematic don't make that much of a difference to them. They want consistency, so whatever it was before, they want the same thing again. It allows you to just keep building it. More into the pricing. Don't be scared to ask for your value. And when you do that, don't be scared to say, yeah, I have some flexibility. Because you do. If you're in my position, you do. I don't know what position you're in, but if you're in my position, I own the cameras. I own the audio recorders. I own the tripods, the video pods, the microphone systems. There isn't a credit card debt really on this stuff. I think I may have $1,000 here, $1,000 there as I find something cool I want to get real quick, but I don't have a significant number where I have a cost on this equipment and I'm stuck, which is a huge benefit. And you might be in that position, which means you have negotiable room on the rental fees. So say, for example, which I do some of the times, is I'll negotiate the rental fees out of these. So on a normal shoot, I'm a Sony shooter, by the way, I'll bring an FX30, Atomos, A7R4, Atomos, a Zoom, F8N Pro, whatever mics I happen to need that day, some lights if I need it, if I don't need it. So anything that has to do with gaffing and lighting, I bring that with me, and that's gonna vary a little bit on what I need. Gimbals if I need them, I don't need the gimbals. I bring on an average of $12,000 to $20,000 worth of gear every single time. I put a rental fee with it that's roughly between $1,000 to $2,000, and that gives me room to negotiate if they want to negotiate. And then my fees, which I have enough rate in it that I can play with that too. If you've got to negotiate, negotiate. If they say, yeah, I want to negotiate with you, they've already said, yes, they want to spend money with you. Now it's a level, is it going to be you out there, or is it going to be the tech out there? Or is it a combo of the two of you? Because sometimes it's a combo. There's days where I've literally negotiated and been like, oh my God, I thought I was toast. And it turned out I needed a third camera person because the person was like, really, I need 3 angles. So I kind of need more, and I need this more. And the reason why I was kind of hesitant on this is because I was afraid I'd have to hire that person. And the reason why this is where the team part comes in is you may not be talking to somebody who is broke now. But say, for example, they're used to doing $500 with you. And this is rambling on, but just if you want to watch, because this is going to give this, I'm dropping gold on you. This is where I've made people's livings to 6 figures a year in sales. So if you don't believe me, I don't care. Because all I care about is giving people opportunities because it was given to me. So let's talk about how you can turn this, or whatever it is you just sound, whatever, using microphones, doesn't matter. Taking one of these and doing a live stream with it for a client, all of it together. You have to be willing to understand when they're negotiating, they said yes. And when they're negotiating, this is where you have to start doing more listening and hearing than preparing to negotiate back. Let me say that again. When you're negotiating, your job is not to be prepared to negotiate back. Your job is to listen and gather information. A lot of times, what they're negotiating for, you may already have the extra services. It costs you nothing to provide, but turns into revenue. May I cite an example? We do photo booths. We also have a partnership with a speaker company. We want to do exposure for those speakers. And because we have kept our part of the contract, we have that particular product as ours now. They have intellectual capital material that is theirs now. We are pretty much set on most of those things. We have a couple deliveries left for the other equipment we just received, but the original equipment we received, we now utilize that in our photo booths. What I mean is most photo booths are just, here's a photo booth, here's some pictures, there's somebody acting cool. With ours now, sound. 2 PA speakers that are Bluetooth, that have batteries in them, and they don't need any wires. And they just go up on some sticks, they go up beside the photo booth, you get some music going, and if you really want to get wild, you can get a wireless mic and connect it to the system, and you can say, hey, come over here and get your photos and have fun, and it turns it into a lively environment. We now do a program with that, and we discount it. Now, that additional money for that program, I think it's either $300 or $500 for those speakers. They cost me nothing. They cost our team nothing. Maybe a hair more in gas. Now, here's the key to this, though. We start off free with that. I think we're going to do it for 6 months. Because it costs us nothing. It just gives us more exposure, allows us to get them more exposure. It's a big plus back and forth with our business relationship. Well beyond what we promised, but it just gets it out there in exposure. Now, after that, we do between 3 to 7 photo booths a week at $300 to $500 per one of those. You're looking at $2,100 to $3,500 per week. Let's just say $2,100. Let's do $2,000. Over 52 weeks, that's $104,000. How much did it cost us to get that asset? Doing a couple videos, providing asset materials, but that's $100,000 in revenue added back. Hold on. Let me put this in figures for you. 6 figures from spending 3 to 6 months showing that for free that costs you nothing. There's a lot of stuff that you have in your big pool that will save you money. Or make you money. So say, for example, in your tool set, you already have sound design recorder, a Zoom recorder, you have the microphones, you have everything else. They're expecting an audio person that's going to cost more money as they see you coming in with a red. So if they see a red, they're used to having a focus puller and an audio person. So you got an A1, a focus puller, a gaffer, and all that stuff, which is cool. That's what you're supposed to have. But you seem to be doing everything yourself. What you can now do, bill in an extra $50, pay the guy $25 an hour just to stand there to hold the mic. You already know how to use the Zoom or whatever it is, the sound design, whatever it is. You set up all the settings. All they do is just hold a mic, or they put earphones on to make sure it sounds good. Then you start adding that service, and you normally charge $75 an hour, but you say you're charging $50. As people get used to it, they know it's going to go up to $75 an hour. They're starting to budget for it, and 3 months down the road, 4 months down the road, you start charging them the full $75. All of a sudden, you made $25 free. You put another person to work, and now you have $50 an hour extra added to your system. There's a lot of different ways that you can improve your business and help out a client at the same time. Now, the last one and most important one is, how do you view the people you're working with? Are they a client or are they just a customer? If they're just a customer, ignore everything I'm about to say. If they're a client, listen to everything I got to say. Clients you follow up with. And follow-up isn't sales, follow-up is follow-up. Follow-up can be, how's your kid doing? What's new on your agenda? How's your life going? If you don't know your client has a wife, kids, fun things they like doing, you don't have a client. You've not taken the time to learn them. And you, most cases, won't get the long-term relationship with them. You won't get the grace with them. You will not get the, I'm going to work with you no matter what. I will find some extra things for you. You must do follow-up, and follow-up with every client is once a month at minimum, sometimes twice a month. And you need to set aside the time to do it. In most cases, in a gentleman like you or most people, they have 100 clients. That's 3 people a day that you make a phone call to, do an email with, whatever. Do an email. How you doing today? Do an automated email, which is fine, but that could be, those are a little dangerous, but you can do an automated email, just says, how are you doing? What's new? Show them some of your new projects you just did, and ask them to do a survey that says, what are the things that you liked or did not like about the video you saw? That's follow-up. And then you can do a phone call and say, hey, look, did you get to my email, just to see if you like it? I know it's generic. Now, I'll give you an example. I'm going to cite a full example of how to do this using MailChimp. Pick a selected video for the month, a survey, and an offer. Hey, big email, came in your email box. It's got a video attached to it. Here's the survey with it. Here is the magnificent piece of artwork or whatever it is I did, and here's what it normally costs to do this type of program. Throw that in there. Throw the whole thing in there, and then like a little article thing and stuff like that. Then, if you really want to show the difference between a soliciting email or a follow-up email, both can be the same. What you do next is you get on your phone and you go, hey, how are you doing? Not a text message, first, a phone call. You have only 100 people you got to call in a month. Guarantee you're only at 100 people. Call them up. Hey, I just sent the email out to you. I haven't seen the survey back yet. Make sure you check on your MailChimp if this is the survey. Or if they did the survey, you can go, thank you for doing the survey. Man, I appreciate it, blah, blah, blah. If you're in need of help, your friends are in need of help, let me know. I can either provide the service or find a service provider if I'm outside the budget for them. There you go. That's a follow-up email, follow-up phone call to an email. Now, what's going to happen here is a lot of them are going to get that and go, oh man, what the fuck email? And they're going to check the email, going to find it, and they'll see this, they'll see your video. They may do the survey or may not do the survey. But that's okay. It's nice to know that they did it. Now, remember, in MailChimp, you might want to send out an email after that that's a little more personalized for everyone who did the survey, because you may have done business with them before, and just say, hey, thank you for doing the survey. This is going to take you about 2 hours a day or an hour a day. That's all it's going to take. This is gold. When I say this is gold, this is absolute in every way, shape, and form, solid gold for you and your long-term future. And when you do that every month. And then here's the thing. Sometimes during the month, you just send out an email that says, I hope you're doing good. I hope you're blessed. I hope you're doing great. I hope you've enjoyed this new thing here. Sports has been great right now. Surprise them with one that just shows you're a human being. You'd be surprised how quickly people will just go, oh yeah, I forgot this person's a person. And sometimes you forgot that person's a person. You see them as a representation of an entity, which is like a business. They're still a person. And you really do have to recognize that. And that will get you nothing but success. So this is the end of the video. It's a long one. So if you want to watch, great. If you did, there's gems in there where they'll get you the 6 figures a year. I'm not guaranteeing you 7 because, well, I'm not going to. But if you follow everything I said in this video, in the next 24 months, you'll go from a 5-figure videographer, arts, sales, whatever the hell you're doing, to a 6-figure person. After that, to get the 7 figures, it's about developing teams and developing repeats of yourself. Simple as that. All right, cool. Peace.